Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today we have Barack Obama versus Donald Trump in the 2012 general election. So the electoral vote count will stay the same. And pretty much we're just going to go through a matchup as if Barack Obama was running for a second term instead of a third term, because in the 2016 video, a lot of people were saying things about what Obama did was influential after his first 4 years or 8 years in general. So we're going to just go through that same change progress, him as a second term, because Donald Trump started actually speaking about Donald Trump started speaking about Barack Obama into the 2012 election. Almost all the news sources made references to him, like saying Donald Trump was not expecting this, like on MSNBC when they called the state of Ohio. They referenced Donald Trump and made a shot at him. And pretty much this is just going to be a matchup between Barack Obama and Donald Trump in 2012 rather than 2016, because the dynamics would definitely be drastically different. And pretty much this would probably favor Obama more than it would favor Trump. So the safe Democratic states, West Coast, Northeast, and then I'll fill in the Republican states. So I'm thinking about having an election night tonight. It'll be Al Gore versus Donald Trump. I was originally going to do Claire McCaskill, but I thought the theme looked really nice with the Al Gore title on it, and yeah, so it looked really good, and I was going to use that one just to set a basis for what I'm going to do in my future election night videos, because they are older themes. Instead of being a more modernized theme, this is a theme from the 2000 and 2004 general election, so it may look different than what you would actually expect seeing it on real life television. So yeah, so right now I'm just filling in all the toss-up states that I think would be toss-ups in this election, with Donald Trump being the Republican nominee. And I'm just going to unfill a couple of the states. And this is pretty much the map that I think would be, actually, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania wouldn't necessarily be toss-ups, along with, actually, New Hampshire, I'm not going to touch this yet, but this is probably the most probable path for Barack Obama against Donald Trump, just winning the Rust Belt and winning a lot of the swing states he won in 2008. But since this is 2012, the American people gave him a second chance against a far stronger candidate than Donald Trump, which was Governor Mitt Romney. And I think that Barack Obama definitely would do better than he would do in 2016 running for a third term. The American people were somewhat tired of the Obama legacy in the Rust Belt, which is why they didn't come out to vote for Hillary Clinton. And there was also the factor that she wasn't as inspiring as Barack Obama. But Barack Obama in 2012 was far more energetic, and I definitely think he could move over that change and progress, going back to the Obamacare bill, promising more. And especially if he ran against Donald Trump, I don't think Donald Trump would be taken seriously this time. The only reason why he got the nomination in 2016 is because the Republican Party failed to cut him off at that nomination point. I definitely think that in 2012, if he was the nominee, I don't think a lot of the Republicans would back him. And although he is far more radical on the right than he was back then, he was transferring away from that Democratic image, so that could definitely hurt him with some conservative voters, even more than it hurt John McCain, who half of them didn't even think he was a real conservative. And we're going to fill in the rest of the map. So Nevada and Colorado, we know those ones are probably going to stay blue, especially with Trump as the nominee, and Obama carried them both times. New Hampshire, I wouldn't even see that one as a contest. In the 2nd Congressional District, I think that one would go to Obama narrowly. Obama won it in 2012 by double digits. Trump won it by double digits in 2016. I don't think Trump's appeal to the rural voters that were tired of Obama would span after 4 years. I think that the American people would give him another 4 years to see what he would expand on his progress. Virginia, I think that one would go blue, definitely. Iowa, although Donald Trump did have an appeal to the rural voters, a lot of them were tired Obama voters, and sure, he won more than Obama won, but I think Obama would kill Trump more than Hillary did at the debates. And I think it would really hurt him overall, just looking at the way they would stand up against each other. I don't think Hillary knocked Trump as hard as she could have, and I think Obama would knock him even harder, and I think he would really call him out for a lot more things than Hillary did. And although some of them may be false, things like that, I still think it would have hurt Trump. And states like Indiana, Missouri, these were red states that almost or did turn blue in 2008, so I'm going to leave them as toss-ups now. Arizona and Georgia definitely could become competitive if Donald Trump made them competitive against Hillary Clinton. I think they would be competitive against with Obama, but then again, history tells us that they're not going to go red, so I don't want to talk too much about them. I'll just leave them in the Republican column because I don't think Obama could be able to flip those. Even in 2008, I definitely think that 2012, I definitely think 2012 would be a far better year for Obama to run than 2016, but you saw that in my previous video. We're just going to go through the map again. So as of right now, as of right now, I'm sorry, I'm cold. I have a cold, but Barack Obama has 285 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 166, and there are a lot of other states that tend to lean conservative, especially after what we saw in the 2016 general election. So, Florida, I'm going to give that one to Obama. I don't think Donald Trump's grasp on all those voters down there will be enough to knock Obama off that main stage, enough to win the state. And I think Barack Obama would outperform what Hillary Clinton did by winning a couple other states. In Ohio, I think that one would go blue as well. The reasoning behind it is I don't think we're not factoring in any VPs at this moment in time, though, so we're not going to factor in Mike Pence in a state like Indiana. But Ohio, I think that Barack Obama could bring back those African American voters. He could turn them out to vote like he did in both of his elections, and I think he could use his voter turnout techniques in order to win those areas that are essential. The city areas that didn't vote for Hillary Clinton but that voted for Obama because they were inspired by him. I definitely think that he could get them out to vote and overcome the Republican majority in that state. In a state like North Carolina, that one's going to be a little tough to call because Mitt Romney did win that state, but then Barack Obama could also easily win that state just because of the fact that he won in 2008. He could push that progress method, and I think that Donald Trump would make a lot of the conservatives there angry. The only reason why they came back in the last stretch, I think, was a combination of the Comey letter and Hillary Clinton moving farther to the left. She was forced to go farther to the left by the Bernie side of the Democratic Party, and that definitely hurt her with some conservative voters and some independent voters. I think Barack Obama would win the independent vote and hold on to some of his McCain voters and win the state of North Carolina. Now, the state of Indiana and Missouri are going to be tough. I think that Donald Trump would be able to be one of those conservative voices in those states, but I think that it would turn out the same way it did in 2008 with these two states. I think Missouri would narrowly go for Donald Trump, and I think Indiana could go for Barack Obama. The reasoning behind these two calls, Missouri went for Trump by 19%. McCain narrowly edged out Obama in this state. I think that Donald Trump would be able to narrowly edge out Obama. But in a state like Indiana, I think that Obama could bring up the fact that he did the auto bailout, things like that, that he's been working for the white working class. And although Donald Trump is that businessman, he was only perceived that way because they were tired of the Obama legacy and the Democratic legacy that they've been voting for. Indiana was a special case in 2008 when it voted for Obama. Since we're not factoring in VPs here, I actually don't even think Donald Trump would have picked Mike Pence in 2012. But with Mike Pence out of the picture, I think Indiana would go for Obama. In a state like Montana, there's a huge anti-Trump movement at this moment in time. A lot of the Native Americans came out to vote. A lot of the small minority population came out to vote in this state, and it really turned the tides towards the Democratic Party, and it helped them there. So I think that Montana, as conservative as it is, if Donald Trump was the nominee, it could flip. But for all realistic sakes, I'm going to leave that one in the Republican column narrowly. And the reason behind it is I don't think that Barack Obama would be able to win that state just because of the fact that it's so conservative. Although Barack Obama came within 2% of winning it and Donald Trump would piss off a lot of conservatives, I think in the end they would just come back to him for a narrow victory. Now in Nebraska, I think that one would that second congressional district would be very competitive because Hillary Clinton did make it competitive, but they didn't put enough resources into it to win that area, and Donald Trump won it by around 3%. And Barack Obama carried it in 2008, but I don't see that same type of turnout with Donald Trump as a nominee. I think Donald Trump really got some of those Southern voters and some of those Midwestern voters, but also made a lot of the minority Republicans angry, made a lot of those moderate Republicans angry. So with all of that, I think Donald Trump would carry the second congressional district narrowly. And this is the final electoral map. So I think Barack Obama would carry every state he did in 2008, with the exception of one electoral vote from Nebraska. And pretty much it would be an exact replica of the 2008 general election, just with a different factors played into it. And yeah, so this is the final electoral map, 358 for Barack Obama and 180 for Donald Trump. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all tomorrow.